Hey everybody, Tim and Julie here for another Batman the Animated Series video, Season 1, Part 13. It's a lucky number, 13. So we're doing episodes 53, 54, 55, 56. So, I mean, that kind of seems obvious, but at the same time, sometimes we do have to skip episodes because of two-parters, etc. So we're doing them 4 episodes at a time. Episode 53, Paging the Crime Doctor. What'd you think? Leslie Tompkins, Rupert and Matt Thorne.
It was okay. I mean, I can see him wanting to help his brother.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of like the last, or it wasn't the last episode, but there was the other episode where, like, the preacher or whoever it was, his best friend.
Yeah. But, what they did to her,
Leslie.
Leslie.
So like I said, so Leslie's one of those characters where you see her more and more as you keep diving into the Batman mythology. Like, so for you, who before we started all this was not that deep into Batman, and as we slowly get deeper, like there's these characters that you're like, oh, like never heard about these people, but they're all over the place. Right. And as we keep going, Leslie's one of those that you learn more and more about.
Mm-hmm. And she did help him.
Mm-hmm. Because she's a good person.
Yeah. So, I liked it.
Okay. Zantana, who is a very, very famous character in the DC universe. She has her own movies. She shows up in all sorts of stuff. Like, this is the Batman show, and she shows up. There's, like, Smallville, which is a Superman show, and she shows up. She has her own movies. She was dating Constantine for a while. So she's very famous, the magician Zantana. This, I believe, is your first, meeting of Zantana.
I liked it. This episode, it was nice.
Being the magician?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Batman being the escape artist. She was able to escape some stuff, too. Yeah.
And we do see her again. I mean, we see her quite a bit. She's very well known. Again, just like Leslie, it's as you dive deeper into DC, like you see her more and more. Okay. I feel like I didn't. So in this episode, we learn more about Batman's training, and at one point he says something of like, "Oh, I have to leave. I have to go to Japan,"
right.
Which presumably leads into like the night/day of the samurai episodes. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of learning more about Batman.
Yeah.
Okay. Episode 55, The Mechanic, a Penguin episode. We see the rubber duck, which returns from Batman Returns, where he had the giant rubber duck. I still don't know how a penguin and a rubber duck combine, but it is what it is. Whatever. So we get the rubber duck. In the 1960s Adam West show, it was one of the episodes, if not the movie. I don't remember. They all blend together, let's be honest. The penguin takes control of the Batmobile.
Right.
In the Batman Returns movie with Danny DeVito, he takes over the Batmobile where he's driving in the little buggy thing, which I love that whole scene. It's fantastic. And in this episode, the Penguin once again takes over the Batmobile. So it's a reference to the 60s. It's a reference to 1992, which I think at this point, that's about when this series, this is 1992, maybe early 1993. What'd you think of this one?
It was okay. He didn't destroy. Batman was following. Batman and Robin were.
Oh, that's right. Robin is in this one. Robin's not. As the series progresses, Robin shows up more and more, which I'll go ahead and spoil, is because the producers were like, kids love the show. We need more of a kid character, so they keep pushing Robin. But as you can tell in the early episodes of this series, Robin's not in it.
Yeah.
So you're right. Robin's in this one.
They were chasing the car, and the bridge was coming down because they let the ship through, and
Which where we live right outside of Portland is something I always think about on the I-5. Because I've caught that I-5 bridge going into Oregon where it's going up, and I'm like, if I fucking gunned it right now, and my stupid little Kia Soul, could I fly over that like the Batmobile? And then I'm like, no, I probably couldn't.
But the guys in the car they were chasing, they didn't make it, or
right,
and so they landed on the ship. And then Batman seen that what was happening, so he slammed on the brakes in the front of it.
Which you don't actually see, but I can only imagine what would happen. But he still drove it, so I don't know. So you brought up an interesting thing that I think is really funny. And I've noticed it in other episodes. I mean, we're 56 episodes in at this point. I don't know if I brought it up. But even if I have, I'll bring it up again. Just fuck it. It's my YouTube. Anyways, this is a kid's cartoon. And they go out of their way, because they have to show that nobody dies.
Right.
So if you notice, anytime somebody is in peril, danger, mortal, they will go out of their way. Like, you'll see a car fly off a bridge, and you'll be like, okay, that's it, that's done. Like, you'll see Batman, and then they'll be like, cut! Let's see the people get out of the car, and oh, they're alive in the water, it's okay. And then they'll go back to the action, and you're like, it just distracts. But it's like, they have to show, oh, they survived because it's a kid's cartoon. So we get that. Okay. Anything else for the Penguin and the mechanic?
No, I'm glad that Batman got the mechanic.
Which it kind of shows the background, like
that they were friends, and he was always working on the Batmobile whenever it got wrecked. So, and he was sorry that he had to leave that area where he was working in, but Batman said he got him a better place.
Yep.
So that was nice.
Which, in the comics... So, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm about to talk about something I don't know anything about. I'm just gonna make this up. In the comics, especially in the 90s, I believe, there's a character... I think his name is Harold. I don't remember. But he's kind of a hunchback. Like, if you imagine the Hunchback of Notre Dame, that's exactly what this character looks like. And he actually lives in the Bat Cave. Like, in the lower decks. Like, in the basement of the Bat Cave, if you can imagine a basement. And he is actually the mechanic that works on Batman's stuff. He only shows up in the comics very, very rarely. But there is an actual, like, mechanic, because he worked for somebody. I want to say it was Two-Face or the Joker or Ra's al Ghul or somebody, and Batman saved him. And because he was like this deformed hunchback, Batman's like, I mean, the world kind of rejected him, and Batman's like, you're a technological genius, like I will help you if you help me. And so they had that kind of relationship in the comic books. Somebody's going to watch this video and be like, you're an idiot. His name was, and he was in this issue. And I was like, whatever. But I mean, it's roughly that there is a character that is a mechanic. So I think that was kind of interesting. Okay, and the last final episode for this video, because it's a long video. Episode 56, Harley and Ivy. Two of the best characters. They are, like, for lack of a better word, they are bitchin'. Like, they are two female characters that take no shit from no man. To me, I'm just going to jump right in. I'm sorry. We've seen Harley a few times, and granted, it's an American cartoon that they sold, like, the animation and stuff to outside companies like Japan and stuff to animate, and then they bring it back. Like, Harley is beautiful in this cartoon. Like, she is so well drawn. And, like, compared to the other times we've seen her, where she's a little sketchy and a little movement and stuff. But she's absolutely beautiful, like, the way she moves in this. And this is also one of the few times where you see her without the makeup. Where she's just walking around with her blonde hair, no makeup, just wearing, like, a men's shirt, if you will. like a 90, I guess.
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah. So this is kind of the origin of Harley and Ivy's meeting, which here, I mean, this is 20 plus years old, 25 plus years old at this point. And they have actually like retconned it a little bit. So Harley and Ivy are actually in a relationship now. So it's gone from being like a meeting to a best friend to a sisterhood to an actual relationship. So like Harley and Ivy's connection has grown over the last 20 plus years, and this is it. It's Poison Ivy. So this is the seed that everything blossoms from. So what did you think of the Harley and Ivy episode?
I liked it, yeah. I mean, yeah, she was sad because she thought the Joker didn't like her anymore, and he kicked her out, and she was heartbroken because she still cared for him, you know. But oh well.
Just somebody better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was good.
All right. 56 episodes. How you feeling?
Right now, tired, but
Tired.
good.
Yeah, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Makes sense. Okay. Anything for these four for seeing Leslie Tompkins, Zantana, the Penguin, Harley and Ivy?
I like seeing all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to seeing them all again.
Me too. I love this series. This is such a good series. So for those who have seen these four, what did you think about all the characters I just named? Go ahead, let me know. I'd love to discuss it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and we will see you guys next time for another 4 episodes.